Hi everyone. So some of you may have seen me before from our previous soba noodle workshop. So today we'll be making fall pumpkin muffins, and I'm just going to go over the ingredients just to make sure everyone is on the same page and everyone has the ingredients. Okay. So first things first, we'll go over the ingredients, but I just want to allow ample time for the oven to heat. So if everyone can just preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. So just set it to 350 and press bake, and then the oven's going to reheat, okay? Okay, so today we'll be using pumpkin puree. So for just, I find canned pumpkins is always easy, but you can be fancy and buy the whole pumpkin and puree it yourself. But to save time, you can also buy canned pumpkin puree. So this is different from pie filling, pumpkin pie filling. So just make a note to always read the label. So all we want is pure pumpkin puree. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It comes in a can. You can use leftover pumpkin puree for other baking projects, right? Or let's say if you're making oatmeal, you can add it to your oatmeal. So I know it's a lot of pumpkin puree in that one can, or you can make multiple muffins, right? So always use for pumpkin puree. So that's number one. And then we have eggs. So just 2 eggs we need today. Okay, so you can grab them out of your fridge if they're still in your fridge and just set them out. Okay. And then we have our sweetener. So that's either maple syrup or honey. Okay, so totally up to you what you prefer. So today I'll be using honey. Okay. And then we have oil. So I just have olive oil here. If you have other oil, that's fine too. And then vanilla extract. So we're going to use just a little bit of that. And then something you may have never used before, it's a pumpkin pie spice blend. So it's a mix of different spices like cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, cloves. You can buy them separately if you have all of those ingredients, but I find it's just easy to get them sort of already blended together. So you can also find this in your local grocery store. So it's a pumpkin pie spice blend. It smells really nice. I know a lot of like pumpkin lattes are really popular right now. So it smells like that. Okay, and then we have baking soda, okay, and then a bit of salt, whole wheat flour. You can use white flour, just whole wheat flour has a bit more fiber, so that's why I like to use whole wheat flour. And then we have oats, so just regular rolled oats, and some optional toppings. So for example, if you like chocolate chips, you can add some chocolate chips in there, or cranberries. I always like to add some cranberries. I find it goes well with pumpkin, or crushed walnuts, different kind of nuts. You can also add in there for a bit more texture. So that is totally up to you, okay? Done the first step, which is preheating the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. And now if you want to line your muffin tins right now, this could be a good time to do so. So if you have like, I have like 2 6 muffin tins, or if you have like a 12 muffin tray, you can use that. So this recipe will make approximately 12 muffins. Yes, yeah, hopefully I answer your question. Yeah, so this recipe will make 12 muffins, okay? So if you have a muffin tray that fits 12 muffins, that'll be great. If you have silicone liners, you can use those. I just have some paper liners here. Or if you don't have liners, you can just lightly grease your pan. So the whole point is just not to have it stick onto the muffin tin, okay? So if you can lightly grease with a bit of oil, so dampen some paper towel with oil and you can grease it, or you can use butter. You can also grease it with butter, okay? Or if you have those like oil sprays, you can give it a quick spray as well if you don't have these liners, okay? Everyone good with that? Okay, so we'll take some time to just line the muffin trays, okay? So perfect. Okay, so now we've lined the muffin tin. So now we're gonna grab our large bowl. We're gonna put all our ingredients in here, okay? So let's get started. So first we're going to add the wet ingredients. So you have your sweetener and oil. So we're gonna put that into the big bowl, okay? So with the sweetener, it's around half a cup. So if you have your measuring utensils, just grab the half cup, okay, like this, and then you'll just put in your sweetener, okay? Everyone good? All right, so let's do that now. It doesn't have to be exactly half a cup. I would say sometimes I like to use a little bit less, really depends on your preference. Okay. So I fill it like maybe 3/4 way up to the top. Okay. All right, so I have here the honey. I'm just gonna put it into the bowl. All right, and then we're gonna add 1/4 cup of oil. Okay, so just a 1/4 cup of oil. So if you have your oil, okay, so 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to get my oil and just measure out a 1/4 cup of oil and again, place it into the bowl. Okay. All right. Everyone good so far? Has everyone done that step yet? So you should have the oil and your sweetener in the bowl. Right. Okay. So everyone's done with that step. Now we're going to add the eggs. Okay. So just crack 2 eggs in there. Okay. All right. So everyone has done that. So once you've cracked your 2 eggs in there, just whisk it together. Okay. So we want to break up the eggs. Okay, so again, thumbs up when you have sort of fully incorporated the eggs, the honey, and the oil, okay? I'm just gonna give it a good stir. So the next step is adding the pumpkin puree, okay? So you measure out a cup of pumpkin puree. So again, this is the pumpkin puree. So after you measure a cup, you also place it into the bowl. Okay, so I'm just gonna dump the pumpkin puree into the bowl. So if you're taking it out of the can, so you will have leftover pumpkin puree. And if you'd like to store that, I would suggest storing in a separate container, not leaving it in the can. Okay, so just make sure you store it in a separate glass container, seal it up, and put it the rest in the fridge so that you can reuse it for something else. Okay, so just store longer that way. And you can make dog treats actually with pumpkin puree as well. I've made dog biscuits before, if anyone has pets at home. Okay. All right. So again, I'm just gonna mix it, whisk it. Okay. All I'm doing is just mixing it. Rachel, great. Okay. Yeah, all right. So now the next step is we're going to add the milk, okay? So it is a 1/4 cup of milk and whatever milk you prefer. So if you have cow's milk, almond milk, whatever milk that you have in the fridge, you can take that out now and just measure out a 1/4 cup of milk and add that into the bowl, okay? So I'm going to grab my milk and then just use the same measuring cup that you use for the oil. All right. I'm just going to measure out a 1/4 cup, then add that in there. All right, so again, thumbs up if you've done that. And mix it together. Okay, so everyone's added the milk, and then let's add the vanilla extract. So with vanilla extract is a teaspoon. So all we need is a teaspoon amount of vanilla extract. So I'm gonna grab my teaspoon. Okay. And then measure out a teaspoon. All right. Add that into the mixing bowl. Okay. Everyone's good there? We can give it a quick mix. So we've now added all the wet ingredients. So now we're going to add the pumpkin pie spice blend, okay, the baking soda and the salt. So I'll give you the measurements for those ingredients. So with the pumpkin pie spice blend, we're going to add 2 teaspoons. So measure out 2 teaspoons. Okay. You can smell it. Just reminds you of fall. Okay, 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna measure out the 2nd teaspoon. If you don't have this at home, you could just also add cinnamon. It's fine too. So again, the pumpkin pie spice blend is a mix of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, cloves. You could add them separately in there. Okay. All right. So after you've added a 2 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice blend, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, so let's all do that together. If you have a spatula, we're going to switch over to the spatula because it's going to be easier to mix once we add the other dry ingredients, okay? All right, so we're all finished adding those ingredients. Now it's on to the flour. So measure out a cup and 3/4 cup of flour. Okay, so 1 cup and a 3/4 cup flour. You want to measure that out and add that to your bowl. All right, okay, so we're going to do that. So you can gradually sort of add that in there. I know it looks like a lot of flour. If you want to sort of gently mix it while you're adding it, you could do that. So again, now I'm not using a whisk, I'm using a spatula or a mixing spoon, okay? So again, it's a cup and 3/4 cup of whole wheat flour. Okay. You want to just gently incorporate that in there. So I'm sort of folding it in, and what I mean by folding it is you're sort of like kind of going around the bowl and gently mixing it in, okay? So you do want to fully incorporate the flour so you don't get sort of uneven mixture. Okay. Come on, just mix in the white parts. But also not to over mix, right? So that's why we're sort of gently mixing it in. Just enough so all the flour is mixed in the batter. Okay, so we're not quite done yet. We still have to add the oats. So oats gives it that extra fiber, right? So you can add a 1/4 cup or 1/3 cup of oats. I'm just gonna add actually 1/3 cup of oats. Okay, and just, again, dump it into the bowl. Same thing, mix it in or fold it in. Okay. If you want to save a bit of oats, later when we sort of put it into the muffin tray, you can sprinkle a bit of oats on top. So it just looks nice. It gives it that bit of texture. So you can maybe just leave like a spoon of the oats on the side. Okay. So I think I'm done incorporating it. Just gonna give you guys a quick peek at what my batter looks like. See how all the oats, the flour is all incorporated into the batter. Okay. Okay. We're almost done. So just the last step is really adding your favorite topping. Okay, so I mentioned before, it could be chocolate chips, it could be cranberries or any dry fruit you like. Crushed walnuts or different type of nuts are always popular too. So you can add maybe roughly a 1/3 cup of your favorite toppings into the bowl. Okay, and just again fold it in there so until it's incorporated into the batter. Okay, so I'm going to add cranberries, dried cranberries, because I like that with pumpkin. So I'm just going to add a 1/3 cup of that. Okay. Anyone have questions? We're all good? Great. Yeah, the great thing with baking muffins, really, you could add whatever you like in there. Okay. I also have pumpkin seeds here. So just to sort of go with the theme of pumpkin. Pumpkin seeds are also great too. You can add this as the topper. So it just makes it look nice, adds that bit of green in there. And also it's a nutritious snack. So I always like to use pumpkin seeds on top of my yogurt, or if you eat oatmeal, things like that, or just making like a trail mix. It's a great source of fat and also fiber. A lot of nutritious, a lot of nutrients in here. Same thing with pumpkin. Pumpkin is also high in fiber, high in vitamin A, vitamin C. Okay, so as you can see, I've added the cranberries. So again, thumbs up if you've added the toppings already. I'm just gonna incorporate it in there. Now maybe I might add some chocolate chips. Why not? Add some dark chocolate chips. Just fold it in there. So we want to just not over mix the batter. Okay. And if you've done that, the next step is just scooping out the batter into your lined muffin trays. Okay, so we're gonna take some time with that. If you have an ice cream scoop, that would be really nice to help sort of portion it out. Any spoon will do. I'm just using a regular spoon right now. I'm going to try to evenly distribute it as best as I can. Okay. All right, so let's do that. Finished first, just place it in the oven, be careful, and set a timer. Okay, set a timer to around maybe 25 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Again, be careful. Okay. We can always check up on it, right, when it's closer to that time, just to make sure you're not over baking it. Okay. Okay. Be careful and let them cool completely, okay? But I will show you how mine turned out. There you go. Thank you everyone for joining today's workshop. And yeah, hope your muffins turned out great. All right, take care.